The Unplayable Podcast is proudly presented by Qantas, the official podcast partner and the official airline partner of Cricket Australia. Once again this season, Qantas is proud to be flying Australia's cricketers as they take on the world. Hey everyone, and welcome to the Unplayable Podcast. Great to have your company on this episode as we have a massive Ashes preview. We're sitting here at Perth Stadium looking over the magnificent oval here. It's bathed in sunlight, and hopefully we see plenty of that over the 5 days. Josh Schonafinger, joined by Louis Cameron. And Lou, we've got Cameron Green coming up later on the episode, but let's talk about the Ashes. The hype has been second to none.
Has been second to none. I mean, the Ashes is just different gravy when it comes to the circus that builds things up. We were on the West Test Hill, is it the NRMA Insurance West Test Hill earlier, and it was just people everywhere trying to get a question into Alex Carey and Cameron Green and Josh Tongue and who was the other one? Jamie Smith. Yeah. Had to separate the print from the TV people, and yeah, I mean, it's been a funny one, hasn't it? Like the Western Australian newspaper has certainly not left anyone wondering which side that they're barracking for going into this one, but it really does feel like it's England's best chance to win out here since 2010-11.
It does. Well, we know that some pundits in the industry think that it's England's best team in that time as well, so we'll get to them in just a little bit, but why don't we start with the Aussie team, because there are still a few question marks over that makeup of that 11 as well. Brendan Doggett is one who is probably firming for a test debut. He's been around the squad for quite a little bit. You wrote a good article about him earlier in the week. And what can we expect from him if he does get the nod? Yeah,
well, you think he probably has to play if the pecking order stands. Australia picked 5 fast bowlers coming into this test. Yep. 2 of them are injured, Josh Hazlewood and Sean Abbott. And the 3 that are left are Doggett, Stark and Boland. So you'd think they have to play. Michael Neser is now here, having played a Shield game last week, and then he flew back Saturday and then has now materialised for this test. But you'd think the fact that he didn't get picked in the original squad means Doggett plays. I mean, a different bowler to Hazlewood, who's out, and of course Pat Cummins. Shorter, skiddier, more of a swing bowler. Probably hits the stumps a little bit more, as does Boland, than probably Cummins and Hazlewood. And so for Boland and for Doggett, bounce isn't necessarily their biggest attribute, but like bounce, that shouldn't be a problem on a wicket that has been more batter friendly than other venues in Australia. That's with the caveat that venues in Test cricket have been really hard to bat on. So, and we saw 17 wickets fall on day one here last year, but it did kind of flatten out after that. And it is, we know it's bouncy always here. So maybe having guys who hit the stumps a little bit more could play in Australia's favour.
Isn't it funny that we talk about Doggett's bounce not being his biggest attribute, but he's a tall guy. We were lucky enough to speak to him yesterday, and he's tall. Like, I know that Hazlewood and Cummins and Stark are all tall guys as well, but Doggett is no shrinking violet.
Well, and the 2 all-rounders Australia's got Cameron Green and Bo Webster. We'll hear Green in a moment kind of say that he's not used to looking up to anyone, and Bo Webster's the only guy he does do it. Yeah, Doggett's a little bit shorter. He must be 6'1", 6'2", and he's got he's a former carpenter, and he's got those long spindly fingers, and you could see those hands going into action to building houses in Toowoomba, which is what he was doing 10 years ago. A remarkable story, and really different. Maybe more similar to Boland than Cummins, Hazlewood or Stark, who were, they were thoroughbreds, all through junior cricket and through the pathway system and identified from a really early age. Doggett, like Boland, has had to really work to get to this level and move states to achieve his dreams. So just a really kind of different story to some of the other guys in this team, and maybe not that dissimilar to Jake Weatherald.
Yeah, that's right. Definitely check out Lou's piece on cricket.com.au if you haven't already, listeners. The other one, of course, with Doggett is the Indigenous connection as well. He played with Scott Boland at that Indigenous tour in 2018 to England. They opened the bowling together, and they potentially could share a bowling partnership as well in this match as well. So that would be special. And Scott Boland said at his press conference on Monday that it would be a massive part for that community where cricket is still definitely down the pecking orders of preferred sports.
Yeah, Scotty spoke about it really well. Like, compared to AFL and NRL, cricket hasn't really been seen as a pathway for lots of Indigenous young people. And I mean, even like looking at the Weatherald story, he's not Indigenous, but he is from Darwin, which has and the Northern Territory, which has a large Indigenous population. I mean, they're hoping to get a test match next year against Bangladesh, and you hope that Indigenous cricketers first of all, but also someone from that part of the world can kind of help this goal. The 2018 tour it's such a great story, and it kind of keeps on giving. An amazing kind of achievement, I think, objectively from Cricket Australia to kind of pull that sesquicentenary tour, commemorative tour. I think since the first Indigenous tour back in 1858, I think it was.
150 years?
150 years is sesquicentenary, yeah. I still can't say sesquicentenary properly.
Not many can.
Yeah, I probably should have just said 150 years, really. But amazing to pull that off, and they played in a lot of the same locations that original tour had gone on, and now two guys from that tour are going to be playing in, we think are probably going to be playing in an Ashes test in a couple of days' time. Great story.
So special. Now, Jake Weatherald, you did touch on him. He had a bit of a working over in the nets on Monday, didn't he? Those Perth Stadium nets are always pretty spicy, and there was certainly no exception on Monday when we had a watch of Aussie training. He's in the mix. He's certainly not locked in, but he's definitely in the mix. Which way do you see the Aussies going with their batting order? Yeah,
well, the kind of group think conventional wisdom seems to be that Weatherald opens with Khawaja, Marnus Labuschagne bats 3. That seems to be on the back of Marnus Labuschagne making a ton of runs in the Sheffield Shield to start the season. I think it's worth remembering that, not that long ago we were I think everyone agreed, I think even Marnus potentially agreed that he needed to be dropped from the team going into that Caribbean tour. He had one test opening the batting in the Test Championship final. All of a sudden, he's made some runs in the Shield. Well, we already knew he was a great Shield player. It's just whether he can bring some of these things that he's doing at that level into this level. So, he's gone from being out of the team completely to now we're thinking, we have to readjust the team completely to allow him to bat at his preferred spot at number 3. There may be some merit in that if he's batting. If he can do what he's done in the Shield against Wood, Archer and co. But I wouldn't completely rule out the possibility of Australia kind of sticking fat with what they've kind of had already, with Green at 3 and Webster at 6. The thing that might have just torpedoed that is Green just looked amazing bowling in that Sheffield Shield return the other week. Australia like to play down how many overs their all-rounder needs to deliver. Mitch Marsh, as last summer wore on, was giving you less and less with the ball. Josh Hazlewood went down in Brisbane and Marsh still barely bowled. Australia said that's fine. We only really need 4 bowlers in our side. The 5th one is a bonus, and so you would think by that same logic, do you need a 5th and a 6th bowler, especially when Green looks to be bowling as quick and as good as he has, certainly since back surgery.
Yeah, and he said today on the West Test Hill that there are no bowling restrictions for him. So if he is required to bowl 10 plus in an innings, he would feel comfortable doing that. So that's definitely a bonus. But it does raise the question whether or not the likes of Bo Webster, whether his extra attributes are surplus to requirements. So it's going to be really fascinating to see which way they go. And maybe conditions could dictate that as well, because I was looking at some numbers before, and Bo Webster has a great record when the pitches are bad or harder to bat on. So maybe if they're predicting this to be a tricky one, he could be an extra one to have in that lineup.
Potentially, but then you also look at the flip side of it, and I think he bats well on tough wickets as well. The flip side is if the wickets are tougher, you probably need to reinforce your batting, not your bowling, because you're just going to be bowling fewer overs. And by that logic, you go, well, we need a specialist opener. We need, like Weatherald, in theory, should give us more runs than Webster, who is a multi-skilled cricketer.
For sure.
So that might play against him. Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately it probably is a Green at 6, Labuschagne at 3, but I wouldn't say we'd seen the last of Webster at test level for sure.
No, definitely not. His 7 tests have been pretty impressive so far, and just offers so much, and in the gully and in the slips court, in which you'll hear what Cameron.
No spoilers on that one. No spoilers on my ridiculous theory. I think Cameron was being pretty kind to me when I brought that one up, but we'll see what the listeners think.
Now the England team, they have a few question marks. They've come out. They've been in Australia for well over a week now. They had that practice match at Lilac Hill against the England Lions. The makeup of their bowling attack, still we are not quite sure. We saw Mark Wood have a bit of a bowl in the nets on Tuesday. He's only bowled 8 overs in a match condition since February, which must be a little bit of a concern for the English. But when you've got a strike weapon like him, and a pitch like this that's probably going to support pace and bounce, well, it's going to be hard not to pick him.
Yeah, and especially, I mean, this pitch, if it plays anything like last year we saw 17 wickets fall on day one. It was incredibly hard to...
It's still hard to
bat.
believe, isn't it, when you say it like that?
Yeah, and I mean, I think 4 or 5 of those were taken by Bumrah when it was pitch black. It was just dark at night, and Bumrah, I feel like everything Bumrah did, like, is just an asterisk next to it, because it was like, that guy was just on an all-time heater. So that might not necessarily be representative of what we get this year, but, I think it sounds like Isaac McDonald, the curator here, wants to create a similar wicket. So tough day one to bat, and then flattens out day 2, 3 and 4. We saw Jaiswal and Kohli,
that's right.
Really take the Aussies to town and, make a really big third innings score that set India up for a win. So if that's the kind of pitch you have, you want Mark Wood in your team, because he's a guy who can get you wickets on flat pitches. By that same token, you've got, if Jofra Archer's going, if Bryden Carter's going, who can also hit 140k an hour, Atkinson isn't slow, and I think my prediction is if he can stay fit, he's going to take a lot of wickets in this series.
Most for England, potentially.
Yeah, well, I think so. It's so hard to predict with England, because I think it's all fitness dependent, and I think their best 4 bowlers, Stokes, putting Ben Stokes in there, Archer, Mark Wood and Atkinson, are all massive question marks over their fitness and whether they can get through that series. That seems like a funny thing to say, given Australia are without Cummins, Hazelwood and Abbott ultimately leading into this series. I just kind of have more faith that the Aussie bowlers have had the durability over the journey to get through 4 or 5 tests out of a long series. But I just reckon you just got to play your best team, because this might be England's best chance to knock over Australia. 2 debutants, no Cummins, no Hazelwood. If Australia were ever going to be vulnerable at home, I think this would be the test. So England have to play their best team.
Yeah, and England have the framework of how to do it as well. They saw India do it here last year, of course. So there's definitely a precedent has been set, and it raises a great question. Ben Stokes is the one. He was incredible in that India series that we saw over winter, bowling when he appeared to be quite underdone. And I think if you could bank on him for 15 to 20 overs in innings, then you just play Mark Wood and you bowl him in 2 or 3 over spells potentially. But do they have the confidence in that? We'll have to wait and see, I suppose.
Well, it might dictate as well whether they play Shoaib Bashir or even Will Jackson as a batting number 8 and part-time spinner and cobble the overs with Joe Root, or whether you go all out pace and have Tongue or Cast as that 4th fast bowler, and just play 4 quicks. You get a lot. If Stokes is bowling, I don't think you need a 5th right arm fast bowler, you can afford the luxury of a Jacks or a Bashir. I think it'd be a mistake if England didn't pick Bashir. Probably here, I could see maybe later in the series if they think they're going to get a real green one, especially under lights, like maybe you go all pace. But, they've been grooming this guy for quite a number of years now for this series. Yeah. He's a tall right arm off spinner, and they think he bowls like Nathan Lyon. They've tried to find their own Nathan Lyon to beat Australia at their own game, and this is Lyon's best test venue in Australia. I feel like we haven't spoken about that at all this week, that that Lyon is a major threat here. I think they need to play him, because this is what they've been gearing him up for. And you'd think, do you need 5 right arm fast bowlers? I'd say no.
High release point, that was the whole thing about picking Bashir, wasn't it? And if bounce is his strike weapon rather than side spin, then absolutely he's got to play here. Lou, you did a bit of an analysis on Joe Root as well. Everybody's had their say on why Root hasn't scored a century in Australia. I think Code Sports called it a curse earlier this week. Did you go down the curse route, or do you have a different analysis?
I think our headline was Aussie anomaly, which is probably a kind way of putting it. But equally, it would probably be unfair to say that he's had a shocker every time he's come out here. He's got a really good record. I think he averages maybe in the 40s in Australia. Yes, he hasn't made the Test century. Everyone knows that. Matthew Hayden apparently is going to do a lap around the MCG if he doesn't get a Test century, which is a weird one.
A lap naked, I believe.
A nude lap. That was the key.
With just his big hat on, I think he clarified during the week.
His big hat on his head, or we're just having a look at it. Is Andrew McDonald walking out over the pitch at the moment? one of the Aussie coaches is having a good look at that thing. Anyway, I'm just trying to get something to get the Matthew Hayden
image out of your head.
Image out of my head. But I mean, that's a weird one just as a side note, because it's like, does Root want Hayden not to do a lap of the MCG?
I think he'd want to spare everybody that, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I think we all do. Anyway, so I mean, Roots had a had a problem in Australia converting those 50s into hundreds. You'd say he's coming to Australia in absolute career best form. In that video that you're talking about, we kind of looked at, Warner's talked about the big surfboard or whatever and him getting out LBW. Well, he actually doesn't get out LBW and bowled in Australia that much. I mean, I think it's been 3 times in quite a lot of innings. One of them was a Scott Boland ball that rolled in Hobart. Another one was Hazelwood nipping one back at him. The back foot punch thing has some merit. People say that back foot punch he scores so many runs with in England on lower bouncing wickets. People say that is getting him out in Australia. It has gotten him out in Australia a little bit after he's past 50, but I mean, his issue is probably the same issue that every visiting and home batter kind of has, is if you bowl nice 4-stump line on a good length with a bit of bounce and push too hard at it, that gets guys out. I mean, that's, when Cameron Green gets out in Australia, that's often the problem too. So it's not, as the video kind of said, it's not a problem that's unique to Joe Root.
Lou, let's get into the chat with Cameron Green. We spoke to him a little bit earlier. Plenty to say about his return to bowling, his form with the bat, and fielding in the gully. Cameron Green, thank you so much for joining us. We're at Perth Stadium a few days out from the first Ashes test. The speculation, the build-up has been massive. Have you enjoyed it, or has it all been a little bit, too over the top?
To be fair, I try and stay away from as much as I can, but things always sneak through. I think it's just, the build-up's so big that you can't really avoid it. So, it's really exciting. I think it'll be a really even contest. I think, obviously England, I'm loving the way they're going about it, and we've had a few injuries. So, but I always love that. I think, it'll be a new face. They're obviously so used to facing Paddy Starkey for how good they are. Maybe something different might catch them out.
And this is a home test for you. You haven't played a lot of home tests in your career so far. Have you been inundated with family and friends wanting tickets and those sorts of things? Yeah.
I think it's always a week out is when you try and get all that done. Try and keep everyone happy, but I think that's nearly impossible.
The new faces that you're talking about, you're right. We normally turn up, right, and we're looking for something to write. And Cummins is back. Starkey. Cam Green's in the team. Josh Hazelwood. Like, it all just kind of. Nathan Lyon. Could they play 4 quicks? No. Just 4 quicks. 3 quicks and a spinner. But it's a bit different this year. Like, tell us what it's like having Brendan Doggett and Jake Weatherald around.
Yeah. I think you always love new energy. I think they're both guys have been around for a long time. It's not like they're new energy, but just around the Aussie team. The 2 guys that have earned the right to be here. I think, there's always lucky timing, but also you got to put performances out there. And I think, obviously Brendan's been amazing in Shield cricket, especially the last few weeks and probably the back end of last year. And then, obviously Jake's had a great year last year and the start of this year. So they're both guys that have earned their place, and it's fun to have them around.
It's great to see you back bowling at what looked like full gas in that last Shield game, Cam. Is that an accurate description?
Yeah, no, it felt really good. It was 35 degrees day one, and I was like, oh my God, have I completely lost my bowling fitness here. But it was nice to look around, and all the bowlers who bowled heaps were also struggling. So, it was great fun to be out there. Body felt really good after, so big tick.
Well, that was my question. Your biggest workload by some margin, I would have thought, in a match since you underwent back surgery last year. More than 12 months ago, I think now. So you pulled up really well. Yeah, no,
really well. I've been doing that sort of workload in the nets, but nothing quite is like bowling in a game. The intensity, you just hit a level that you just can't hit in the nets. I think I went as hard as I could, a few trainings beforehand, and couldn't get the airspeed that I just got reasonably easy in a game. So I don't know if they just turned the Ks up in a game or if it was a touch quicker. Not sure.
What were they saying you were bowling? Did they have the gun on you?
Yeah, they had yeah, they mentioned 140, but
Okay, that wasn't the
maybe
guy,
he's turned up.
that wasn't the guy who. There was a photo on social media of a guy who turned up to the Sheffield Shield
Took
with
his
a speed
own.
gun.
Oh, maybe, yeah. Thanks for that guy.
You weren't just leaning over the fence going, mate,
Hey, mate, what do you
137,
reckon?
138?
Yeah. No, not sure.
And with the bat, obviously 94 runs. Was it good to have some solid time in the middle as well?
Yeah, I think that's what I was probably focusing on that last game. Bit of time in the middle, trying to get some rhythm. Nothing quite beats time in the middle. So, really proud I got that, and hopefully that translates.
We were a little bit surprised at the Michael Neser dismissal. It looked a little bit high to us on the knee roll. How did you feel about that decision?
Yeah, well, I feel a bit nervous with the mic with my own opinions. I think, I'd probably throw the other guys under the bus. They reckon it was high. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, right. Other people were saying to you that it was
And even the
high.
Queenslanders were. So
Yeah, right.
that's probably an indication.
Their
words.
Yeah, right. You're the incumbent test number 3 in this team. Have you got an indication of whether that might change this week?
No indication yet. I think their big meeting might have been last night, so maybe find out later today which way it goes. I think, there's no right way. I think both ways are the right way, so however way they go about the team. So, not stressing.
I don't want to put you in a tricky spot there, but like just thinking generally about batting 3, like you did it in really tough circumstances, right? That Test Championship final, and then we're watching at home on those Caribbean wickets.
Yeah.
They looked really hard to bat number 3, but by the time you got to the end of that series, like you were doing it pretty well, Cam. Tell us about that journey.
Yeah, obviously first time in my career batting 3. Always loved the challenge. Was really, grateful to be back in the team for the World Test Champ game. Didn't quite go how I planned it, but it was obviously nice just to get it out the way, and then work on a few things, find a few things that did work at 3, and then have a bit of success by the end. The scoreboard, if you look through it, probably doesn't look that way, but like you said, the wickets were that tough that, getting a 40 or a 50 was pretty amazing. So definitely positive to take out of it.
What were the things that helped you? Yeah, as you said, 40 was, I'm watching on my couch back at home, I'm like, that feels like 140. What were the things?
Unfortunately, it's not. That's the issue.
Well, when the other team's getting bowled out for 29 or whatever, it probably is. But what were the things, Cam, that kind of helped unlock that run of form?
Yeah, I think it was just being able to leave the ball, I think, was the best thing to do over there. I think because it was going sideways, up and down, trying to keep the percentages as best in your favour as possible. And I found the best way was probably just to play literally balls that were on your pads, or keep it as compact as possible. I think, trying to expand your game was just so tough over there, that the percentages of being able to hit the ball was so low. So being able to leave the ball was probably your best bet, and try and nick and nudge your way around to get to 40. Just, try and battle through it. So, that was definitely a way that worked there, and it may be a different way you might have to go about it on a flatter wicket.
I've got the numbers here from the Jamaica Test. There were only 3 scores over 37 for the whole match, Steve Smith and you twice, so that's a good sign. My question is, how different is batting 3 to 4? Because you've done 4 a lot, and you just said you've only just started at 3. To a layman, it doesn't seem like a big difference, but is there a big difference?
Yeah, you could always be in their third ball if you're batting 4. But the percentages of being probably in the first 10 overs are a lot higher betting at 3.
Sure.
I would say that's probably the biggest difference between them both, is that, hopefully, the top 3 can get through the first 10 to 20 overs, and then you can, probably play your game a bit more naturally straight away at number 4. So, that's maybe the biggest difference, is that, the percentages of batting in the first 10 overs are lower, I'd say.
And it's interesting you're talking about your success in Test cricket comes from not hitting the ball. Your success in white ball cricket is obviously you're not leaving too many deliveries at all. Yet you've been going beautifully in that format since you've, in both those formats since you've come back. Well, I know you've spoken in the past about finding it hard to separate between the two formats. Has that gotten easier?
I think you just over time you start to learn your game more. I think you work through all the theories in your own head that may work. Whether that's batting on middle leg off, coming outside your crease, you want to play on the back foot or front foot. I think you work through so many different combinations to see what works, and I think the older you get, the more that you put into the hours into those sort of theories and trying different ways and finding what works. I felt like I've found a way in white ball cricket that really works. Makes me feel really powerful and dominant. It's just finding a right balance in red ball cricket. Because the ball behaves completely different.
And you feel like you can kind of adjust from one thing to another, because I reckon I spoke to you a couple of years ago and you really love that long lead-in into Test series in particular to kind of almost get the white ball stuff out of you.
Yeah, no, I still feel like it's very similar. I think there's guys like Travis Head that do play very similar games. I think, he loves just hitting the ball, and that works really well, opening the batting in white ball cricket. I still feel like there's a slight difference in how I play, and how I play my best cricket in red ball cricket is reasonably different to how I play my best cricket in white ball cricket. So, I don't feel like, it is a big of adjustment compared to someone like Travis who bats very similar, but so maybe I do need those few extra games to feel quite right in those formats.
That 57 ball 100 in Mackay, that was breathtaking to watch. It must have felt like everything went right that day, because it does help when you come in at none for 250 or 1 for 250, but everything just clicked for you, didn't it, that day?
Yeah, no, it was a great day. I think your expectations are quite low. You're trying to work out how to go about it. I think the beauty from the first 2 one days that were up there to the third one is that you didn't have time to really get yourself in. You just had to go from ball one, and that definitely doesn't pay off all the time. One of those days.
I also loved seeing you turn down the single as well. You were targeting Muthusamy, the spinner, and it paid off as well because you hit a couple of big sixes off him, and maybe we'll see a bit more of that from you in the white ball future. Yeah,
for sure. I think it's been mentioned quite a bit, but I think we definitely mentioned it in the West Indies in the T20 tour about what you do when you feel like you're on top of the bowler. Do you take your single and good luck to the other guy, or do you go, no, I actually really think I can take him for 20, because the bowler's really happy when you get off strike. So what happens if you say no? It puts a little bit extra pressure on the batter, but if you're feeling so good, you might as well take it. So Tim David did it in the West Indies. He may have done it in Darwin, so he's kind of he's the bravest one of us all to do it for the first time. It was nice that it paid off.
I love it, yeah.
And Tim was doing it with Mitch Owen down the other end. I think you were doing it with Alex Carey down the other end. Like that, how does that kind of thing go? Like you having the confidence to say, no, Alex, I've got this guy, mate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, it's nothing on Alex. It's
sure.
Just, it was more, there was maybe a bit of a breeze going towards one end where Alex is obviously hitting towards the longer boundary. So, if it was Mitch Owen, another right-hander, I might have said, we'll take the one.
Yeah, if Tim David's at the other end, is there any situation that you'd go, nah, Tim, I reckon I've got the spinner, mate?
Probably not. I'll probably run that single,
Yeah, it puts pressure on the batter, but I reckon it also puts pressure on the bowler, thinking, hang on a second, this guy knows he can get after me. So there's definitely a double-edged sword to that tactic as well.
Oh, 100%. I think, as a bowler, you're pretty rattled there. You're going, oh my God, I felt reasonably okay, but now I'm like, oh my God, he thinks he can get me. So, for sure.
How much fun staying on white ball cricket for a bit, because you do have the T20 World Cup. I know that's not what you're thinking about this week, but beyond that, it's been a real shift with this team in the way you guys are attacking it from a batting perspective. Have you enjoyed that? How do you see yourself fitting into that?
Yeah, I think we've had a lot of fun the last 3 or 4 months, especially. I think it's the new guys that have come in. I think Mitch Owen coming in and trying to launch the ball from ball one has made the older guys go, oh, wow, maybe we should do the same. I think, Tim David going up the order, being so aggressive. Obviously, our top 3 in Heady, Bison and Ingo set that tone. And I kind of felt like I was in the middle there. I was like, oh, well, they're going hard. The guys below me are going hard. Well, I guess I have to too. So
I guess I just got to block them back, on the anchor.
Exactly. No, certainly. I think we've... I think if you're being so aggressive and attacking, you don't really need that anchor. I think you're playing your best cricket when you're looking to score. So, it's not always going to pay off. But, I've really liked the the team that we put together, it looks strong, powerful, exciting, and is working at the moment. So wait and see what happens.
It's okay if we go back to the Ashes for a little...
I'll permit it. Yeah.
I just had a question I wanted to know about the bowlers that they're going to be bringing at you guys this series. Obviously, you've faced a bit of Mark Wood, maybe not Jofra Archer, maybe not these other guys like Atkinson and Cass. Have you seen much of these guys in person, or has it mainly been the vision that you've been watching?
Yeah, I think, luckily enough, I've been playing for long enough to have faced the majority of them before.
Yeah.
I think it was a white ball tour in England when I faced Joff, I reckon, for the first time. I played with him at Mumbai, but I definitely didn't face him in the nets. So, but I've spent enough time around him. He's a lovely guy. Cast, I faced him in that same white ball tour. Yet to face Atkinson, but then obviously face Mark Wood quite a bit. So, I think that's the beauty of being around for a while, that you do get the chance to face these guys, and not really as required to watch the footage as I probably was a few years ago.
And you've mentioned it a couple of times, maybe Owen being a younger guy, and you've been around a few years. Are you starting to feel like a bit of a senior or established member of this side?
Oh, it feels slightly weird to talk that way. I think I'm still the youngest by 5 years in this Ashes team. So,
as has been pointed out,
I think. And I think it's been the same case for the last 5 years. So, it was nice having Sam Constance there for a while. All those joking questions about, do you know this rock band from the 2000s? I can pass those on to and say, Sammy, do you know them? So,
what was it
when I knew I didn't know it? So, I don't want to expose myself.
It's an interesting one for you as well, like thinking about your spot in the team. Like whenever you come back, you might be batting in a new position, and you're coming back to bowling, and it always feels like there's another kind of layer coming on top for you, Cam. Like, do you kind of hope that this Ashes series can be the start of something where you get a settled spot wherever it is, and you can just get a run at bowling too? Yeah,
that's a good point. Like I feel like I have moved around a lot. But I've always kind of felt very settled in the team, regardless of where I was playing. So, that's a credit to the coaching staff that, they can feel like there's continuity when there's not. But, you don't want to talk too much before a series. Anything can happen. So,
I remember you spoke a little bit about Shane Watson as well, about him potentially be someone you looked at, especially when you were batting three. Is he someone you've kind of reached out to, or is there anyone else?
Certainly I've had conversations with him in the past, especially I think when I was starting. He was definitely someone who reached out really early, so that was awesome. I feel like it's a bit of a journey that I've taken on myself. There's been guys like Mitch Marsh that have been around, which have been awesome, but I wouldn't say I've necessarily had convos to work out what they were doing to try and copy them. I think, I've obviously started really young, so I had the luxury of being able to take the time to learn my own craft. So, probably not the... you normally get the introduction of Shield cricket for 5-10 years to really learn your craft. I've kind of had to do it in the international stage, but... I feel like there's still improvement to come.
And just kind of to be clear, like with your bowling now, do you kind of feel like you're ready to go? You can bowl as many overs. I know you've only probably bowled more than 15 overs in a test, a few times, but do you feel like you can give your all with the ball with your back?
Yeah, certainly. I think, I probably haven't had the competitive overs in a game that I would have liked coming into this series, but I think the double-edged sword is that you come in really fresh. I think 5 test match series versus England is going to take a lot out of you, and if you're already coming in a bit tired, you're going to be exhausted by the end. So that's obviously the beauty of coming in so fresh, is that you can not necessarily take your time, but hopefully by the back end I'm still going really well, where if I went a bit too hard with a few Shield games I might not be. So you probably prioritise the Ashes over anything before.
In the comeback from such a significant surgery, was there a bit of a confidence factor as well that you have to overcome at the start when you're hitting the crease as hard as you can? How much of a mental thing is it as well?
I think if anything, it was a bonus. I think I've got the courage that it will be fine. I think
Oh,
that's
right.
maybe a little bit too naive. But yeah, when you've got a bit of metal in your back, you hope that doesn't break quite as easily as bone. So,
Right.
yeah, if anything, it's a bit of a confidence boost, if anything. But at the same time, you've got to be quite careful, because if you do it again, what's the next step? So,
Right.
yeah, it's had a lot of success, but I don't want to take that for granted. So it's still being smart. But if anything, I'd say, yeah, probably confidence boost.
But I mean, it's been obviously so positive so far. Have you reached out to someone like Lance Morris, who's gone through a similar thing now and has been a teammate of yours for a long time?
Yeah, certainly. Or if anything, I think he reached out just to get a bit of clarity. And being such a close mate, I think it really helped his decision. Yeah, he's a guy that probably doesn't like taking too many risks, but to have a good mate that's gone through it, it gave him a lot of confidence to go down that path. And yeah, I certainly think it was the right choice for him. I think he's, yeah, unluckily, yeah, the last few years, a bit hit and miss for him. So, yeah, it's a bit of a, bite the bullet now and be, way better for it, which is exciting.
All suggestions that it went well for him as well?
Yeah, really well. No, exactly like me. I think, 2 weeks after surgery, walking around doing everything. So, yeah, really positive signs.
Now, the one thing we haven't touched on before we let you go is your fielding. And I've got a theory, and I want you to hear it out, Cam. If you and Bo Webster are playing in the same team, we hope that happens at some point in this Ashes again, do you need 3 slips? Like, if it's just you and him at 1 and 2, can you two be 3 people in the slips court?
Well, I think so. I think we're wasting 2 fielders there, aren't we? Certainly, I think, Bo can be 2.5 and I can be gully, and that's all you need.
I love it.
So, yeah.
I love it. It's genuinely amazing to see the two of you in there. Like, do you have to, like, stand in a different spot at gully when he's the one next to you?
I could probably go a bit wider. That's probably a good point. I might take that on. No, but it's a weird feeling. I look across and someone's taller than me. I normally I'm just ready to look down. I'm like, oh, that's only half of him. So where is he? I'll take that feedback on.
I remember you saying at the start of your Test career that you hadn't even fielded in gully before you were sort of in this Test team. Do you have any interest in moving closer to the keeper and getting to that slip score, or are you happy in the gully there?
Certainly. I think when I first started, I didn't like it.
Really?
And then it's probably during the county stint that I had. I think, very first game, I was like, I've had enough of gully. I'm going to just... And then I think they needed a first slip, so I was like, okay, I'm going to go first slip for them. And first game, I think Zach Crawley nicked one to me, and it just wobbled at me, and I was like, no, I'll go back to gully where hopefully it doesn't wobble at me. Hopefully it's a hard cut shot that doesn't swing.
Yeah.
I think I'd prefer that over a nick that wobbles.
Stick to what you know. I think that's
Yeah.
a good idea.
What did you not like about the gully, and how have you gotten... Because, I imagine it's kind of... You're a bit unsighted in there. Is that what you've had trouble with at first?
Yeah, initially, yeah. I think, when you're in the slips, you get a good look at it. It comes at normally a consistent, just a really good view of the ball. And I think it was 3 everyone saying how bad's gully. I'm like, yeah, I guess so. And
Well, it's better than short leg.
oh, certainly, yeah. But now I've come to appreciate it. That wobble's giving me nightmares, so I'll stay to gully.
And you've taken some screamers in there. Any favourites that stick out from your 5 years of Test cricket so far?
Yeah, probably the Rahane with the World Test Championship. I think, the whole situation of the game. Previously dropping a dolly in the gully off Paddy, so I needed to make up for that, and I think I did, which was nice.
That was the one you took on the half volley, right?
No, that was later.
That was a different catch, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, not your favourite, that one.
Yeah.
So as we touched on off the top, we are here at Perth Stadium, your home ground. You're averaging 42 in Melbourne, averaging 41 in Sydney. You must have a pretty good Test average here, right?
Well, I don't think I've played a game here in a Test match. I definitely haven't batted, so it's infinite, I guess.
It's a strange one, yeah. You must be looking forward to getting out there, because you would have played a bit for the Scorchers here, have you? Or
yeah, very early doors.
Okay.
It'll be the first time really in a very long time.
Wow, okay.
That I played a red ball game or batted in a red ball game here. So, hoping it's very similar to across the river.
Very good. Well, all the best, mate. We look forward to. I know you have played a test here. You just didn't get a bat in it because it was when the wickets were flat and you couldn't get a game, couldn't get a go down at number 6.
Well, if that happens again, I'll be pretty happy. So we're going pretty well.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for your time.
Awesome. Cheers.